this transmission is not only physical. Number two, it is mental. Tell somebody mental. There are some families, they are very intelligent. Oh, yes. My father-in-law is a professor. His senior brother is also a professor. So they're all professors. So I can tell that in his family, they have mental capacity. When they sit in the classroom, you teach them something, they understand. There are some people, you teach them something, they don't understand anything. Which one says in the blood? You know, in secondary school, you can see some people in secondary school. All of them are good at some particular subject. If it's physics, math, chemistry, all of them, the whole family, everybody is very good in physics, math, and chemistry. It's in the blood. It's transmitted. You know, when we talk about the gifts of God, there are spiritual gifts, there are also natural gifts. They all come from God. And I feel that if you have spiritual gifts, natural gifts, you must use all of them to their maximum. Somebody may be good mentally, but you may also be good in another area. So when you concentrate on your gift, you will excel. There is nobody without a gift. Maybe you haven't recognized it, or maybe you have not developed it. But there is nobody without a gift. Daniel, his intelligence was from God. Daniel 1:17 says, as for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in visions and dreams. The kind of intelligence that Daniel had, it came from God. He was born with it. It was inside him. So you see that even when you see people, there are people that mentally, they are good at certain things. And it's natural. It flows in the blood. In the time of Noah, when God destroyed the flood, Noah gave birth to a son. He was called Enoch. Now Enoch started giving birth to children. This was when the world started. There were no few people in the earth at that time. But Noah's descendants. There was one called Jabal. In Genesis chapter 4 verse 20, the Bible says, he was the father of them that made tents and the father of them that raised cattle. Which means in those days, nobody had built a house before. But this man, Jabal, by some divine inspiration, he figured out that you can build a house. I'm sure people are sleeping under trees. Schools under trees. People were sleeping on the trees. But somehow, he figured out how to build a house. Not only that, everybody was chasing animals, trying to catch them. But he was the first person to domesticate animals and cultivate a farm, and he went into animal husbandry. And the Bible says all his children were like that. He said he was the father of them that built tents, and they had cattle and herds. Fruitful. Anybody else who was not in that family lacked that capacity. Then there was another one. He was called Jubal. He was the father of them that played the harp and the organ. Musical. There are families, they are musical. Like the family of the late Michael Jackson. I mean, when you see the family, you will see that these people, they are musical. They started singing when they were children. Everybody. And when we were young, they used to be called the Jackson Five. Tito, Marlon, Randy, Michael himself, Jermaine, and their sister, Janet. They all used to sing in church first. They were all choristers. Beautiful voice. Everybody can sing. All of them grew to become musicians. And they left the church, they became worldly musicians, which was a very bad thing. But I remember one day I watched an interview on CNN. I was watching CNN or something, some news channel. And at that time, they were interviewing Michael Jackson. This was years ago. And they were asking him about a song that he composed. It was called Beat It. And then they were asking him that, how did he compose that song? And I remember he played the song with his mouth. Hey, I thought a real bass guitar and an organ was playing with his mouth. What? I couldn't. That was the first time I heard that truly, if they said Satan had the body of an instrument, really, it is true. I was shocked. He said, boom, 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 boom. I said, hey, Charlie, it was amazing. I mean, it didn't sound like a voice. It sounded like instruments. Then I said, man, these people are gifted. Or like the Winans. All gifted. Like Pastor Armstrong, he sings. He plays. All his brothers are like that. They sing, they play, they do everything. But you in your family, nobody sings. Now your voice is from the blood. As soon as you start singing, you go, of course. You sing from your nose. That one too is in. There is something. Put your hands together for Jesus. There must be something. There must be something. In Genesis chapter 4 verse 22, the Bible says there was another guy who was called Tubal-Cain. He was the father of them that wet iron and brass. At that time, nobody had ever used iron and brass before. But this man figured out how to make things in iron and in brass. And not only him, the Bible says his family. It passed down. So you realize that even things that we can do with our minds or whatever it is, look, it's in the blood. You take the family of Abedi-Pele. They all play football. Abedi-Pele plays football. His brother, Sola Ayu, played football. He had another brother, the one with the rasta hair. Kwame Ayu played football. His son, Andrew Ayu, plays football. The other son, Jordan Ayu, plays football. All of them, they play football. And I was reading about him once, and he said he never asked his children to play football. Yes, he never asked them to play football. But they themselves just started playing football, and they had the skill and the talent to play football. It's in the blood. You can do all the trotting in this world, all the training in this world, but when you play the ball to move in a different direction. Look at somebody say it's in the blood. Talents, giftings, whatever. It's in the blood. So even mentally, what people can do, it's all in the blood. That's why it says the life of the flesh is in the blood. There's a code written in the blood. There is a program in the blood. And because of that code, because of that program, it can determine what you can do and what you cannot do. Wow.